You know what the hardest kind of anime to review is? Wait, hold on, let me back up. You know what the hardest kind of anime to review well is? Anime that have no reason to exist. Sure, anime that's annoying can be a chore to sit through, but words come easy, and the end result can be something downright cathartic. Boring anime are tougher because it really doesn't lend itself to jokes as easily, but it's still manageable. Anime like Iria, on the other hand? Where do I even fucking start? Iria is one of those titles that seems to have disappeared off the collective otaku consciousness, even though it's not that obscure. It's got a Wikipedia page, an ANN page, but as of this writing, not a single person has requested me to review it. I would almost call this a cover-up if I didn't have the niggling suspicion that the genuine reason why no one brings it up is just that they had forgotten about seeing it. Watching Iria is like waking up after a disappointing opium jag. You can't remember what happened, but you also don't care. I wound up researching as much as I could about the OVA, and I found out that the series was actually a prequel to a Japanese monster movie called Zerum. And you know what? I was left with so little to talk about in the anime that I hunted the movie down and watched it. And that was another 90 minutes wasted. Zerum is just your run-of-the-mill monster movie, and even that is being generous. It's all about an alien bounty hunter who's after a biological weapon named Zerum, but winds up babysitting these two bungling doofuses for half the movie. Honestly, it reminds me a lot of the Hidden Fortress and the two peasant characters that the film follows, instead of what is arguably the main character, Princess Yuki. Hold the phone. Did I just compare Akira Kurosawa to a movie with a saucer-hatted alien with Kane from Tenchi Muyo in Love's face painted on it? Let's just start this fucking review. I'll give Iria one thing. I really love the design of it. It kind of reminds me of the wings of Anamais. Unfortunately, the comparison stopped there. The series begins with our heroine Iria trying to capture a bounty when she's interrupted by a flying asshole.
I'm taking him in.
But I caught him!
Don't go saying I'm a bounty jumper. Besides, you're just an apprentice. You've got no claim.
Why, you...
Women should wear makeup, not men's hair beads. Say hi to your brother for me.
You jerk!
And before you even ask, no, the flying asshole was not in the movie. Right away, you could begin to see the biggest problem with Iria. There isn't anything explained to the audience. Normally, I would hate an anime that spoon-feeds everything to the viewer, but when your show centers around an intergalactic bounty hunter who is also surrounded by unfamiliar technology and cultural details that are alien to anyone who wasn't part of the scripting process, you gotta throw us a bone. Even if the anime treated us like idiots, it'd still be preferable to leaving us with our dicks in our hands wondering what the hell is going on. Hey, you little shits! This is Iria, a 6-part OVA about a bounty hunter that hunts bounties. She has a brother, a friend who turns into an AI program, and she constantly battles a monster named Zerum, who is supposedly immortal. Are you breathless from how awesome this show sounds? Or did you just forget to breathe again, you drooling little shit dicks? Give us your little papers with dead presidents on them, and the nice lady at the counter will give you a small little frisbee. But be careful, you brain-dead assholes. It really isn't a frisbee. Take the disc and stick it into your shiny box that has that little tray that makes the whirring sound, and be prepared to have your mind fucked by an entirely mediocre show. What does mediocre mean? Fucking awesome! Hey, at least this way the show can reach that much coveted 35-year-old man-child demographic. Apparently, the flying asshole knows, or at least works with Iria's brother, also a bounty hunter, and also not in the movie, and tries to muscle in on their next bounty.
Hey, if you guys let me in on this, I'm willing to take 1/3 off my usual percentage.
Fujikuro, turn around!
Iria, if you shoot that thing, we'll all fry. Hey, watch my...
Not that much to lose, Fujikuro.
Alright, that was pretty good.
Thanks, Iria, but try to think of some other way to exact your revenge next time.
If I wanted to be around women who constantly threaten men's junks, I would have stayed with my ex-wife. The lack of any explanation really hits the viewer hard when robots from some corporation appear out of nowhere and try to stop Iria's brother and Bob. Yes, in a world of Irias and Zerums, there is Bob. And yes, again, This corporation was not in the movie. I'd say we could make a drinking game out of this, but there isn't enough booze in the Western Hemisphere. So in the first 10 minutes, we have a chase scene involving characters we know nothing about, and robots we know nothing about, even if you saw the movie. Hell, if you did see the movie, you'd still be stuck wondering why the hell Bob, the AI in the movie, is all of a sudden Yang from Final Fantasy IV.
Iria, get off already! They might have booked passage into space!
I won't let you go with them! Fujikuro, it's coming again!
Are they nuts? We're all gonna get arrested for this! Ah!
Ha ha, have fun getting blown to bits by the merciless robots! Man, it's great being the good guy! Iria manages to catch up to Bob and her brother as they're teleported into space. They arrive at their job, a spaceship under internal duress. After walking through the USG Ishimura, they finally come across what had caused the damage.
It can't be.
Cool entrance and everything, but it's somewhat undone only 2 minutes later.
Put me down!
Not until you tell me why the Zadam Project wasn't killed.
The serum?
If you watched Zerum, you must be tearing your hair out by now. In the film, Iria asked Bob about Zerum, implying she knew next to nothing about it. But in the prequel, it's revealed that she has encountered Zerum many times. So why in the hell does she not know anything about him in the film? This is why prequels are a bad idea. They can only punch plot holes into the original work. Hell, can you name even one prequel that was better than the original? The idea of a prequel is inherently a bad one, since no matter what happens in a prequel, it can only lead to what we already know. Anakin was always going to fall to the dark side, Bilbo was always going to find the One Ring and keep it, Mike and Sully were going to wind up best friends, and the Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas was always going to be worse than eye cancer. Additionally, Iria's brother knows about Zerum and radios Bob to tell him it's on board, so how does Iria not know about Zerum again? Even more additionally, they say that Zerum is nearly immortal, but at the end of the film, they pretty much kill it dead, so how is it immortal again? And this strikes at the heart of the main problem with Iria. It has no reason to exist. Zerum, when you get right down to it, left very little wiggle room as far as expanding the internal universe. They did wind up making a live-action sequel, but that was as far as the would-be series could realistically go. An anime prequel can only undermine what the original film established. Are you beginning to see why it's so difficult to review Iria? I'm essentially reviewing an OVA series and a film. Like here, for example, Iria's brother manages to freeze Zerum where he stood, but then the show cuts to Zerum flying in and swooping for the kill. How did Zerum break out? Especially when it's established in the film that freezing him where he stood worked and he couldn't break out. It's a movie about a rubber monster and a Japanese cosplaying woman who fights it. How do you fuck that up? Bob's wounded during his struggle with Zerum, but Iria manages to fight back before Iria's brother catches up. With every survivor off the ship, Iria's brother tells her to get off while she can before Zerum takes it over, which is a power that he didn't have in the film. Having parted ways, he blows up the ship with him inside it, leaving Iria to cry out for him. And the plot grinds to a halt for half an hour. She gets blown to another planet and deals with a gang of thieving children and the still somehow alive Zerum before banishing it again to God knows where. She picks up this really annoying orphan, and much to my dismay, she's not a one-off character. Yeah, this kid who looks like an 8-year-old Chrono is actually a girl, which makes scenes like this
I'm the one who's hurt. It's pretty squishy, wouldn't you say?
confuse my boner. It's hard to convey exactly how poorly paced Iria is, since I'm jumping around from plot point to plot point, but trust me when I say they could easily have condensed the 2.5 running time over 6 episodes into 90 minutes over 3. In fact, the plot doesn't pick up again until the third part, when Iria finds out that the entire mission has been covered up by the corporation that sent them there in the first place.
Who are they?
Antipodes Security's my guess.
Who knew such a ruthless and calculating corporation would use such cute and adorable tanks? Yeah, whoever they got to build these things needs to be sacked and hard. They look like cupcakes, for crying out loud. Not only that, but they can be rendered useless by a piece of plastic blowing into its air intake system. It's like this thing was designed by Dr. Wily, complete with obvious weak point and everything. Anyways, the two manage to escape the cake parade, and they dish on what they think Zerum is. Hold your breath, people!
So what exactly is Zerum?
Huh? I thought you said you saw it yourself. Couldn't you tell just by looking at it? Zerum is an evil, unkillable space creature. If someone could harness its power as a weapon, nothing would compare.
Gasp! They were going to use Zerum as a biological weapon? This is the most original villain motivation in the history of fiction!
Bring back life form. Priority 1. All other priorities rescinded.
Ever! Well, I guess, duh, right? I mean, why else would a corporation need a killer alien creature? I'm sure it's shit at Microsoft Office, and don't even try asking if it can make a pot of coffee. Not to mention it'd be an HR nightmare.
So Antipodes wants to use Zerum as a weapon?
If it works, they'll make a fortune. But that's all these giant corporations ever think about. Money, not lives.
Alright, I'll play ball. What are you going to use this bioweapon against? Is your planet at war? Is there an invading force? Yeah, you see, this whole bioweapon plot point kind of rings hollow if there is no threat to justify its existence. Iria accidentally finds a hidden microchip in a locket that she lifted off of the corporate vice president. Whoa, deja vu, eh? Which reveals what we already know, and that he was planning to take control of Zerum and use him as a bioweapon. Why the fuck the vice president was carrying this incriminating evidence on him, I have no fucking clue. Emboldened by this discovery, Iria Rambos her way through the corporate headquarters. Okay, time out. What the hell was that? Why in the hell would Iria need an elevator cable cutter? What else would she use that for? She's got zip lines, grenades, more guns than the human body can carry, and now a timed mechanism that cuts elevator cables. Fucking Adam West's Batman didn't have as many convenient gadgets. What the hell was that? I mean, why can't the rest of the anime be like this? So far, the anime has been pretty dull and uninteresting, and then BAM! We get this ridiculous action scene. I mean, she went from Zero to Clark Griswold and nothing flat. Iria makes her way to the top and finds the vice president, and eventually finds Bob, who has been transformed into the AI we see in the film. Okay, why the hell did this corporation turn Bob into an AI? The dude was already dying from his wounds. Just let him bleed out and that's one less witness. But instead, they spend untold amounts of money to keep this guy alive in a digital format, even though him being around is essentially their biggest liability. Do they want to be found out? And this brings me back to one of my original questions. Why the hell was Bob human? Why couldn't he have been Iria's companion AI, like in the film? Now we got this dead weight in the plot about him once being human, and then was turned into an AI by the same corporation that essentially killed him. For no good reason. See what I mean about prequels ruining everything? Not to mention this whole corporation angle and the vice president being an evil asshole plot point gets dropped by the end of the 3rd episode. They never make another appearance again. The 4th episode begins with Iria finally becoming a full-fledged hunter, and her first mission is rescuing a kidnapped doctor, who just so happens to be the last surviving member of the original Zerum project. And guess who is back?
But don't you worry, Kay. I'll take care of both of us. This is gonna be one great adventure.
Yup! That little Chrono shit and friend! So, happy to see them! Good God, why are they here? I mean, I know why they're physically here as far as the story goes, but why the fuck did this story need an annoying little shit like him? I mean, her. God damn it, moving on. Iria thinks she spots her brother among the would-be kidnappers and is now determined to get to the bottom of this. She manages to find both the kids and the doctor, who has until now spent most of the time yelling at the brats, which makes him my favorite character by default. Apparently, the thing that has been going around and slaughtering everyone is actually one of the mutant offspring that Zerum spawned. Not only that, but what Iria saw turned out to be not her brother, but a clone! Yeah, this is kind of a stretch considering what we saw in the film. Zerum had the ability to absorb DNA, I guess, and then spawn a clone, but the one we saw was a pathetic little turd that Zerum wound up killing right away. Then again, considering who he cloned... So now Iria has to deal with the fact that her brother may be alive somewhere deep within Zerum, and still the audience has yet to care. She manages to stun him long enough for the four to try and escape, but the guy's tenacity knows no bounds.
I came to give you this 'cause I'm a lousy shot.
Yes! Finally, an anime that has the balls to kill off an annoying character. No more pathetic extortions for food. No more obnoxious scenes of him trying to steal money from people. Just deathly silence from the little shit forevermore. Of course, I'm celebrating the death of a child. With the doctor in tow, it's time to find out once and for all if Zerum has a weakness, and finally put a stop to him. Which they won't, because then how the fuck does the film happen, and God! If there is a single coda to this episode, it's fuck prequels! Out of nowhere, the series takes this weird turn where the doctor tries to plead his case in front of what I assume are the planet's officials, and they're not buying his story for 1 second.
I say it settled nothing. The only way to be sure is to destroy it. It managed to survive a nuclear blast aboard the Karma, and it destroyed a city after falling to Dowajon. And it's found its way to Mice after being transited into outer space.
I suppose you're going to tell me that he booked time on a Transat as well.
You know what? The ignorant officials who are completely blind to the threat before them are right. No, really, they're asking perfectly logical questions. If Zerum were here on their planet, how the fuck did it get here if it was teleported into space? The anime certainly never shows it, and since the Doctor has no proof, got his side on the assholes with this one. I mean, sure, they're all going to get their balls gnawed off by the end of the episode, but at least this way they'll be in the right. Small consolation, though. Can I have an aside here and say that I love this Doctor character? He's always pissed off, always irritable, and always sounding like he's in the middle of a firewater shit.
Who's there?
Hey, Grandpa.
What do you two want? I'm very busy.
You really have to ask? You think Zerum's been using the Transembler network?
You were spying. You're nothing but trouble.
He's like if Kirk Douglas threw out his back while doing an impression of Nick Nolte, while he was doing an impression of DeForest Kelley. Hell, Iria, what the fuck are you doing here? Can't you see I gotta find a way to kill whatchamacallit, the guy with the killer sombrero? Yeah, that guy. God, I'm tired. Where's my space beer? While Zerum has been amassing an army to take down the planet, Iria has fucked off to where she grew up, because she thinks he's there for some reason. Either that, or this is the world's lamest vision quest. From here on out, the anime becomes kind of one note. It just devolves into a bunch of battle scenes with the army putting up a pathetic resistance against Zerum. Iria finally arrives to stop Zerum, but only after he destroyed countless buildings and killed hundreds of soldiers and civilians alike. That's our heroine! In a truly frustrating scene, Iria's brother manages to overpower Zerum's body and asks her to shoot him, which of course she can't. But of course, this doesn't knock him out for good, and instead, Iria winds up knocking herself out. For 5 days. And during that time, Zerum has just been sitting around with his thumb up his ass doing nothing. I guess if it was good enough for Kefka, it's good enough for him. Greatest villain in Final Fantasy history, my ass. So after the requisite scenes of brooding and more military incompetence, Iria once again pulls on her big girl panties and does what needs to be done. Destroy Zerum's magical asshole and attack his obvious weak point. Zerum's magical asshole. The worst idea for a children's show ever. She slays Zerum, or not, because how the fuck did the movie happen if she did, and I thought he was supposed to be immortal anyways, and fuck it, the series is over and good riddance. Outside of the art style and the music, Iria is just a goddamn mess. It struggles with its source material, it has no idea how to expand the universe it's set in, and at times it could just be plain dull. Which is a real shame because the OVA really had potential. Iria was a cool character in the movie, if only by proxy with the 2 dinguses she had to take care of, but this anime deflates her character and massively turns down the coolness factor about her. She was this close to attaining Valkyrie bitch status. But alas, such honors are not easily attained. Iria, you were forgotten by the fandom years ago, and now we all know why. Ugh. Well, January has one last test for me. First we had boring, then we had messy, and we close out the month with meh. Till next time.